Judicial reform in Egypt has been heavily debated since the 2011 January uprising. The approach, however, was never agreed upon. Islamist President Mohamed Morsi was the first to try decreasing the 70 years retirement age. Judges cried foul and responded with court verdicts that have dissolved all elected bodies dominated by Islamists, paving the road to his ousting.
The Egyptian justice suffers from interference and lack of independence. During Mubarak, there were two teams, those demanding independence and those accepting Mubarak's terms. In 2003, the highest judicial authority resigned, objecting to the lack of independence. Until now, judicial independence is still an issue. Mubarak, the military council, the Muslim Brotherhood, Morsi, and even General El-Sisi, they all don't want judicial independence because it restricts their authority.
Many judges, however, believe they are independent. They hold legislations responsible for any unjust verdict.
No one has ever managed to break us using his influence. That is why we have always been in conflict with the executive powers for long. But we are obliged to rule based on the law. Otherwise, we'd be accused of injustice. So when are there laws that are corrupt? I don't want to say corrupt, but are unjust. There's nothing in my power to do about it. I must apply it as long as it is there.
President El-Sisi says he doesn't interfere in justice, but as international criticism rose after prisoning the Al Jazeera journalists, he issued a decree law that gives him the right to release convicted foreigners from prison. Yet judges didn't consider it interference.
It doesn't violate judicial independence. If the president wants to maintain friendly ties with some country, it's not this person who will affect our independence. Moreover, he didn't get in conflict with us to do it.
Legislation is just one way of indirect control of justice in Egypt. The Interior Ministry could influence a court verdict. It has the authority to ban prisoners from attending their trials for numerous reasons. And in absentia, a judge must give the maximum penalty according to the law. So lately, hundreds of Muslim Brotherhood supporters have been sentenced to death without even having the chance to plead. Thousands of Muslim Brotherhood supporters are in prison after El-Sisi launched a government crackdown on Islamists. Some judges have showed support to the Brotherhood in the process. Others called for judicial reform. Both were chased by the authorities as supporters of a terrorist organization. Many of them fled to countries like Turkey and Qatar.
Now, there are only those judges who tend to keep the situation without change. The reform voices faded either by suppression or defamation of those judges, or those who wanted change, so the problem persists.
The president is currently reviewing a decree law that would enable judges to reject witnesses as they please, allegedly to fasten trial procedures. Legislative and judicial reform is now entirely in the president's hands. While the parliament election was delayed, Abdel Fattah el-Sisi remains the only person in the country who can issue any law or proceed with judicial reform. Adel, Mahrouky, CCTV, Cairo.